It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
Well, hello, Kathryn.
Hi, Frank. Fancy to meet you here.
Yes, it's nice because, our schedule got disrupted a little bit because of, still
all the traveling.
Still the traveling and then the weather and the things. But don't let that disturb you. Go ahead and put your order into the supply chain and maybe order some Frank and Friends merchandise.
At frankandfriendshow.com/store.
Look at this two-sided mug. Woo!
They're very nice. But you can also get phone cases. I love my phone case.
Oh, he's still working for you?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
That's good.
Didn't you see the selfie I took when I was out of town and it had like the Frank and Friends show logo in it?
No, I missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed that one. I try to stalk you regularly on Instagram,
that's
but
really sad.
Because I just figured one of these days I'm going to miss liking something, and that's the one you're going to bring up. And what do you know?
There it is. I'm pretty sure you liked it. It was the one where I was in the fancy dress.
Nightmares come true.
For the audition.
Oh, well, no offense to the phone case, but I actually literally liked the dress.
The dress was distracting.
It was great. It was it was one of your Vinick.
No, it was, I don't even know the designer, but I got it for the fundraising event.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
The greenish one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a good dress. You should follow Kathryn on Instagram, and then you can like that picture, make up for me.
And you can see the phone case and purchase one yourself.
How about that? Oh, yeah. Also, they got that sign back there, which I don't think anybody else is going to buy one of those. I really just put that in the merch store for myself, but technically it's in there. You could get one if you wanted. It's under canvas print.
Or a sweatshirt. Or pint glass.
Yeah, I've got my sweatshirt over there.
Yeah.
Got my stuff. Good. All right. Well, we're happy to be here with all that's been going on. Yes, we had some snow here in East Tennessee, and my friend Bean in England is always writing to me, "Did you get a lot of snow?" And I need to explain that horseshoe effect and why actually, as much as I despise snow and ice, I'm somewhat thankful that we live in Knoxville where we get less snow and ice because we're in this horseshoe than the towns that are like La Follette, for example, or the Cumberland, Fairfield Glade, or the Smoky Mountains. On all sides of us, there's like this peninsula of less snow, sometimes no snow, which is where Knoxville is.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that because I was watching the WeatherNation. Have you watched the WeatherNation? First of all, you have to watch the WeatherNation.
What? No, where is it? Is it like a?
It's just a television network that
instead
comes
of
free
Weather
with
Channel?
the television. Yeah, it's WeatherNation.
I don't know if I have it because I just have Roku. I might have it.
You might.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, WeatherNation is really fun. They play weather all day long, and they're showing.
Well, they work at it. I would think it's their job.
Yeah.
Just call that playing. I mean, it's not really very polite. We're playing at a podcast.
Yeah, it's our job. This is they're playing. They love the weather.
All right, okay, so they play weather.
They play weather, and they showed
like
the
you
map.
play house.
Yeah.
Some people play house. They play weather. Okay.
I mean, how often is the weather accurate? I think saying that they play weather. Is...
My friend David Aldrich calls himself Captain Accurate because he's reasonably accurate.
Okay, reasonably, but
fairly accurate.
Yeah, still playing.
A lot accurate.
Playing.
All right. Anyway.
Okay.
So WeatherNation.
WeatherNation, and they're showing where the snow is falling, and there's just like this little circular gap there.
Yeah.
The snow is not falling yet, and we're not going to get hit as much, and there's Knoxville in the center of that.
It makes me happy. Yeah. It makes me happy because we had enough snow that you were surprised. I was supposed to come to a board meeting. I'm on the board of Kathryn's Marble City Opera, and but she sends this option. She says, well, if you don't want to come to the meeting in person,
you can come on Zoom.
And usually, I'm one of the people who always shows up in person.
So I was actually counting how many people I needed to make copies of because I have to print documents. And in my thought process, I was like, oh, well, Frank will show up in person. So I printed papers for Frank.
Well, you can give them to somebody else because I did the Zoom option. There was this much snow still on my lawn and zero snow on the streets. Jerry went out to church for a few minutes because she had to listen to an audition. They're hiring a new accompanist.
Nice.
So she had to go, actually, I guess she had to go sing so that the accompanist would play, and they were auditioning the accompanist.
Nice.
And so she's like, I'm going over to the church. I'm like, but I don't want to leave the house. She's like, damn. But she was back before dark.
That's good.
And I thought, I'm going to Zoom it in because I have had in my life, two specific things with regard to snow and ice that have made me vociferously, vehemently despise it.
Okay, I need to know why you hate snow so badly.
All right, when I was about 13 or so, I slipped on a patch of ice and broke both bones of my left arm. I landed on the brick stairs on the front of my house, and there's a long story that goes with this that we can get into another time, but the short version of it is my father had hired a limo to take us to the airport to go to Walt Disney World. I go next door to give the neighbors the house keys, and I'm coming back in to our house, and I slip on the ice, break my bones. The trip is canceled, and I get whisked off to the emergency room in the back of a limo.
So you had to go to the emergency room instead of Disney World?
Yeah.
Because of snow and
then
ice.
it gets further complicated by the fact that there was an orthopedic surgeons convention in New Orleans that day. So all of them are out of town, but the one guy they left behind. And my father is dissatisfied. What if this guy's not good enough?
I mean, that's a fair question.
So he calls his brother, who is one of the top orthopedic surgeons in all of New York. And the whole convention down in New Orleans is vetting this one poor bastard is left back up there. That guy had so much pressure on him that for a basic, simple broken arm, he kept me in the hospital for a week.
Oh my goodness!
And he gave me a cast from here up to here.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, because it turns out that my father's brother is an orthopedic surgeon. The guy who fixed my arm, his brother is also an orthopedic surgeon, and he's down in New Orleans partying with my uncle. So it's a small world, but they're all talking about my case, and it was a complicated break, and they wanted to make sure they could do it without cutting the skin, which obviously they did. Look, it's perfect. So that's the whole story. It's long, but that's the whole story.
Yeah.
So a lot of pressure. So I hate the ice for that reason.
That's a good reason.
Then, I guess I was about 13-ish or so. Then move ahead about 10 years. I'm like 23-ish. I finally buy my first new car.
Okay.
It's just a cheapo little Ford Escort, but it's stick shift. And I'm driving home from the record store where I'm working, selling Michael Jackson albums. And,
as you do.
Yeah, well, that was the number one selling album for several years in a row. And I wipe out on the ice, and I get the whole side of my car is just destroyed from hitting into somebody other. It's like one of those multi-car collisions.
Oh, that's awful.
At the corner of was it 123 and Dolly Madison, or whatever it was, Old Dominion Road and Dolly Madison and McLean. So that makes me not want to. So I don't want to walk on the ice, and I don't want to drive on the ice.
I mean, that's fair.
All right. Now, I know it's been a while since I've had a major ice accident, but
it's trauma. It's trauma.
That's why I enjoyed living in Los Angeles for all those years.
That makes sense. Well, and Knoxville doesn't normally get snow. I mean, we've already had snow 3 times this year, I think, and that's unusual for this area.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I zoomed into your meeting. I thought this is a great opportunity. And also, I used to have to, the whole time I lived in Knoxville, I would always have to go to a radio job in person, 6 days a week usually. And it was rain or snow or sleet or hail or hot or cold, it doesn't matter, because that's the way radio used to be. You had to go to where the microphone was.
Right.
And when they've eliminated all these jobs in radio and replaced them with what they call out-of-town voice trackers. So technically, I am an out-of-town voice tracker for LakeFM, which is in La Follette. But I'm certainly not going to drive up to the studio's not even in La Follette, but imagine me driving up there to do a show from that snow. But I have a microphone here in the house, and I'm so spoiled that I don't know if I'll ever get another full-time radio job again because they're so few and far between.
Well, instead of having to go to the microphone, just bring the microphone to you.
And I can't, you can barely tell. I mean, you really have to be, have the bionic woman hearing or Superman hearing or whoever it was that had good hearing. You might be able to barely pick out that, I don't think he's in a soundproof studio. I think he's at his home. But they got a mic that
the mic is really nice.
Is adapted for that environment. It's not a studio mic. It's a mic to use, in this world. What is it? I guess it's not omnidirectional. It's cardioid, and it just picks up the one side and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, nice. Well, I used to hate the snow when I lived in Virginia as a little kid.
Yeah.
And I used to cry whenever it snowed. My dad used to have to pick me up and carry me around.
See, my kids were the opposite. My kids were pissed at me for moving them to California, away from the snow. Yeah, Frank Jr. lives in Michigan now. He loves the snow.
I like it when it's like this. It's like 2 or 3 inches. It like lands. You have the day where you're just gonna hide inside, and then it melts, and you can get back to regular life.
So now, and my daughter lives in Virginia, where it's up in northern Virginia, where it snows a ton. And she sent a video of did I tell you this already? The Rocket Brothers making snow angels.
Oh, that's fun.
Except Timmy was making his face down because he thought it was more interesting.
That's great.
Like, what are you doing? Timmy, But evidently he and Artie both think it's funny to do snow angels, and they put their face in the snow, and it's just exciting, and it's...
We took pictures in the snow yesterday, and Sasha loves to run around in the snow, actually. She doesn't like it when the snow is falling on her face, but she does like it when the snow is not falling anymore, and she loves to run around in it. Yeah.
I mean, I know I've just talked about my broken arm, but when we didn't go to Walt Disney World, my father, as a consolation prize, bought us a Siberian Husky. Telling my mother... This is
why you don't like dogs, too.
Well, so I'm home recuperating from the broken arm, cleaning up dog poo, because everyone else is out of the house.
Another reason why you don't like snow.
And I have to housebreak this puppy.
Yeah.
So I love the dog. I loved the dog, but she loved the snow. That was her jam. She'd get out there and just do this. They run with they run different than other dogs.
Right,
with
they
the
run
2 paws.
2 paws. Yeah, Sasha does that sometimes.
Oh, okay. Maybe she's got a little, maybe
a little tiny
name like Sasha. You would think she's got some Siberian in her.
Well, she shouldn't shiver so much then.
Well, I have so much else to tell you. I know you've got stories too, but I also need to tell you about my experience at the Japanese New Year celebration.
Yes.
And so many other things. But I want to take a quick break and talk about Steve's tree service, which means I need to pull up the script for Steve's tree service.
Well, they cut down one of your trees.
A bunch of my trees, a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that because those trees, some of them were really leaning hard, and if you put a little bit of snow, a little bit of ice on them,
they would break. I mean, it's a really good thing that they're not there now.
Yeah, so I'm happy to get rid of those, and that's probably a reason why you may need to call Steve's Tree Service if you're anywhere in the East Tennessee area. You maybe have some that either snapped or cracked, or you can tell are about to, do a little preventive tree surgery there, or just clean up, and they're great at cleaning up. They will come with their crew and their trailers, and they specialize in a couple of things. And one is making sure they leave it better looking than when they got there.
Nice.
And the other is they're just kind people, so they always like to look out for senior citizens who maybe live alone, and they want to make sure that those folks don't get ripped off by one of the big companies who, they come in with all the razzle-dazzle and the trucks and the cranes. And Steve does it differently. He hires the tree climbers. Right,
like the lumberjacks.
Yeah. And they go up there and they work there. When they go up to the top of the tree, it's usually the smallest guy.
That's interesting.
I don't know, but because they're like jockeys. I don't know what this thing is, but usually the thinnest, strongest, shortest guy is usually the tree climber, and he's got like these chainsaws, these that are like knives.
Does he have the spurs on his shoes?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah. That's
cool.
Yeah.
There's some videos. If you look up Steve's Tree Service on Facebook, you can see some videos of these guys, going up there like lumberjacks, and then scientifically they have to figure out which part of the tree to cut in what order, so that it all, if you cut the wrong part too soon, well, obviously you'll kill yourself.
You'll fall down with the tree.
Yeah, so they don't do that. Yeah. They're licensed, they're bonded, they're smart. They know how to survive in that scenario, and they slice and dice the trees so that you don't have to. Steve's Tree Service, you can find them, like I said, Facebook and Yelp. They got great reviews on all of the Google, all of the things. Or better yet, just call Renee, who's Steve's wife, and have her come, and she'll give you the estimate. She comes first.
Oh, that's great.
And sometimes Steve, if he's available, he'll come over too, but Renee knows the business side of it. 865-257-6214 at Steve's Tree Service. So here we are in mid-January.
It's cold.
Well, yeah. But I wanted to tell you about the New Year celebration that I attended.
Yeah.
It was kind of exciting because I had hosted or emceed the Knox Asian Festival multiple times, which doesn't really make any sense. Why would I do it? Except that I worked for a radio station that was the sponsor of the Asian Festival. And if your charity has a radio sponsor, you should ask them to provide an MC for free as part of the media sponsorship. Right. So I would go and frankly work my tail off. I mean, I would, do you know what, do you have your phone around?
Oh, I don't.
Well, it's hilarious when you go to knoxasianfestival.com and you click on the gallery.
I can look
do that. You can do that just somewhere at knoxasianfestival.com website. And then you click on the gallery of photos. That you'll laugh when you see that, and you'll get it. We can even hold it up, or I can just show it. Now down at the bottom somewhere it says gallery. Oh, there might be. There's a link at the top. Yeah. So you click on that.
Oh, there you are. But, that's great.
It's the most gigantic picture of me, full length, head to toe. But it's mixed in. Actually, put it in context of the. I'll do a screen grab and just put it on the screen, so you'll get to see this too. So yeah.
Let me open this.
So this is what we're looking at on Kathryn's computer. is, I mean, poor Indonesia. They get a tiny picture, and I'm in this enormous photo with me in the kimono.
Yeah.
Well, I see Kumi, who runs the Asian Festival, when I'm over at Channel 6 to hype Scholars Bowl, and she says to me on a Friday afternoon, "What are you doing Sunday? I can hire you to be the MC of the Japanese New Year celebration."
Nice.
And I said, "I'm sorry, did you say the
hire?
The H word?" And she's like, "Yeah, well," I said, "Yeah, I mean, you did it. You helped us all those years at the Asian Festival when you worked for the radio station, but
Right.
I'm well aware that you no longer work for the radio station."
Right, so let's pay back here a little bit.
And she had put together her itinerary for the day where she was going to MC it.
Okay.
But it overlaps, so she's supposed to be doing the mochi demonstration where they take the sweet rice and they pound mochi.
I have a mochi story. Keep going.
Oh, mochi's delicious. So she's supposed to be running the mochi demonstration at the same time she's supposed to be introducing the one of the, either the sword demonstration or there's this toy. They both start with the word Ken. I'll have to look it up. So it didn't work out. So she thought, well, I'll get Frank. She's like, I'll pay him a little bit, and he can be the MC for the thing.
Nice.
So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. So I'm texting my friend Bean because when he makes a new episode, he'll tell me, made a new episode today, and I'm back and forth with that. And it was a Sunday, so he just made a new episode. I said, well, I can't listen to it right now. I'm at the Japanese New Year celebration on January 9th, and he wrote, why so soon?
What do you mean, why so soon?
And I didn't know. I didn't understand. I thought, well, maybe that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because the Lunar New Year that they celebrate in China and Vietnam, Tet, and they call it Vietnam, is usually in February.
Oh, interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Chinese New Year, usually, not always, it's either late January or sometime in February. And I mean, I'm reminded of the time that when I worked for Kevin and Bean, we did a giant Chinese New Year celebration at the original Panda Inn. You know Panda Express?
Yes.
Well, the original Panda Inn is in Pasadena.
Ah.
Before they had Panda Express.
That's great.
And we had Tori Amos, for whatever reason, she was in town that... It was kind of
you need Tori Amos.
Well, you have the record company say, hey, Tori Amos is going to be in town this week. Can she come on the Kevin and Bean show? And you look at the calendar and you're like, well, that's the day we're going to be broadcasting live from Pasadena at the Panda Express, and Panda Inn, not the Express. And they're like, okay, well, so the record company rents a piano from SIR, Studio Instrument Rental, and we make all the arrangements and the logistics are rerouted. So instead of Tori Amos coming to KROQ, she goes to Pasadena and puts
actually
on
more fun for
a concert
Pasadena.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, because like it's actually for an audience. They're not just in the studio.
Yeah, 7:30 in the morning, she
fun.
puts on a piano concert and does their song, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
So we're well aware of when Chinese New Year actually is, but I figured out the hard way by asking that Japanese New Year is January 1st.
Okay, just like ours. And they were just celebrating a week later? Or?
Yeah, and apparently in for many Japanese, they don't celebrate Christmas. It's not if you're not Christian, if you're of Shinto, whatever, doesn't matter, whatever you are, Christmas is not a big deal in Japan.
Right.
So they have a huge party on New Year's where they have traditional decorations, and we were selling those, and you would and they had a calligraphy thing where you could go and draw or write a Japanese character.
Oh, cool.
And they were charging $5 for it, so I didn't want to do it.
Don't give any of that money back.
I hadn't gotten paid yet. But they said, no, why don't you do one? Because I was there so early.
Right.
And then no one had done it. No one was there yet. I said, why don't you do one, and then we'll just let you have it, and then
we won't tell anyone. Yeah.
And in fact, that's the other picture I was going to show. Let me put that up on the screen too, is when I got the email today from the Asian Cultural Society, and they put a montage of photos of the Japanese New Year celebration. It's one big photo.
Right.
So, but if I zoom in, here's a picture of me wearing my Frankenfriends mask.
Nice.
Holding up
your character.
Japanese character.
Oh, nice.
And
That's great.
So I drew this myself.
You did that yourself?
Yeah, they have and my wife said, you're getting so much better at arts and crafts.
That's impressive, yeah.
Well, what do you think it says?
Happy New Year?
No.
What
That would have been a good guess. This is called a kanji is the drawing, right? The characters.
Yeah.
So actually what they do is, I Googled this, like we use Arabic numerals and whatever kind of letters it is that we use. They actually use Chinese characters, but to say Japanese. So this is a kind of a cross between Chinese and Japanese, but this is a Japanese word for wealth.
Nice.
So I'm holding it up and I'm saying, look at me, I drew the Japanese word
And
for
you
wealth.
got wealth because this was the whole $5 that you didn't spend.
Yeah, I got paid.
Yeah.
And then a lady in the audience, I said, who else has got one? And one lady holds hers up, and I said, oh, what did you get? And she says, kindness. I'm like, yeah, that was my second choice. I was gonna.
She said kindness with like an attitude there?
No, I almost got kindness. I thought about getting
she was
kindness.
Like, kindness.
Like I should have kindness. But I'm looking at my
begrudged that she had kindness.
No, she was morally superior to me.
Oh, okay.
She had kindness, and so maybe I'm the one saying she had kindness, and I went for the money. I went for wealth. But given the bank account, I thought this was the wisest choice.
If you have wealth, then you can also be kind with your wealth.
Oh, very kind. I would do that. So I drew that. And I've been displaying it around the house, which I thought that was kind of cool.
It is nice.
And the other thing that I found interesting about it was when we first get there, as other people are arriving, someone from the Consulate General's Office of Japan in Nashville arrives, and she's
cool.
a sponsor of the event, and she's brought. I don't know, she sponsored the drawing, but she had other things at their table. They had a table, the Japanese School of East Tennessee. Did you know there was one?
No.
Where you can go learn how to speak Japanese and stuff. So they're there, and at that particular guy is there, and I'm going to introduce a few of these folks. And some of them are going to speak in Japanese, some in English, but I'm to introduce these particular dignitaries at the beginning of the event. And Kumi is introducing me to them now. Okay, this is the man who's going to MC the event, but she's speaking to them in Japanese very rapidly.
Okay.
And the only words I know in Japanese are, everyone knows domo arigato, which is thank you very much.
Right.
I know konnichiwa, which is good afternoon. I used to know good morning, but right now it's escaping me. And I know that you're welcome is something like, touch your mustache.
But it's not actually touch your mustache.
No, it's touch your mustache.
Okay.
Is what Kumi said. She says, it sounds like touch your mustache. So just say it
with like an accent.
Fast enough that they won't know that you're really saying touch your mustache. And you just say, touch your mustache.
And that's good morning? Or that's
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So thank you, domo arigato. Touch your mustache.
Touch your mustache.
Or something. I apologize, Kumi. I'm trying my best. But Kumi is explaining me to these folks, and the only words I'm picking out are Frank-san. So then, because she says Frank-san, and they look at me, and I smile and I bow. So they're all they're interacting with me like I understand
what they're saying.
And I'm thinking this is turning into a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I'm starting to turn red, going, oh no,
it's like,
oh no,
Frank-san.
Oh no, I better stop. I better let on. Like I have to somehow express that I'm in way over my head here.
Just keep bowing.
Yeah. It was
touch your mustache and
yeah.
That's good.
That's my last few days.
Well, that sounds fun. I have to say I didn't know what mochi was until this television show came on Netflix last year. Have you heard of a program called Waffles and Mochi?
No, but I used to watch a thing. I thought it was on a regular network, like ABC years ago, not that long. It was a Japanese game show. Mm-hmm. So they would bring Americans in to play these outrageous Japanese game shows, and there definitely was a mochi segment of it. And then when you used to go to Menchie's yogurt, Menchie's had mochi that you would spoon on top, mochi balls that you would spoon on top of your frozen yogurt.
Yeah. Well, why don't you get on Netflix here and look up Waffles and Mochi, because Waffles and Mochi is a delightful little television program that Michelle Obama was one of the producers on. And they have characters that are actual waffles and mochi. Those are their names.
Oh, okay. So they're like puppets. So it's like Sesame Street.
It's basically Sesame Street.
That one's clearly waffles. I don't think I can show it on the screen because of copyrights and whatnot. But
but look at Waffles and Mochi.
That one's got waffles on it.
Now the one with the little helmet here, that's mochi.
Oh, small.
It's small little pink mochi.
Yes.
And instead of saying any words, mochi just goes me 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 me, and then you understand like.
Have you eaten mochi?
So in New York, when I went there over the summer, I was in Whole Foods, and they had in one of the freezers just like individually wrapped mochis.
Mochi cakes?
Yeah, like little.
Because you can get them.
It was like a mochi ball. It was like a ice cream. It was frozen.
Oh.
It was pink shelled and like.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Well, they handed out at the Japanese New Year celebration some mochi cakes. So I got one that was covered with sesame seeds on the outside. So it looks, you think it's chocolate, but it's not. It's just got sesame seeds on the outside. The other ones were just plain rice on the outside.
Okay.
And then it had what you think is chocolate on the inside. And I looked on the label later, and it was red beans, red bean curd. So, but it's like a candy treat. It was like eating a Hostess cake, except it was mochi.
Yeah. Well,
I loved it.
Mochi is fun.
Yeah. And I think for even for Chinese New Year, I think it's traditional to get a big rice cake that's filled with red beans on the inside.
Nice.
You can buy those. Remember when I had that job up in Pigeon Forge? We did a Chinese New Year show, and I had to stop by one of those supermarkets, like maybe Sunrise Market on Kingston Pike, or there's another Asian market over maybe by Montview. But I think I went to the one that comes to mind first, and I bought several of those things so we could cut them up and eat them on the show.
Well, we just saw some in frozen section in Ingalls.
Well, we can do that again. I mean, I'm not no qualms if you want to get some of
We're going to have to get some mochi. Celebrate our Japanese New Year.
Yeah. And then whatever we can have for Chinese New Year and Vietnamese New Year and
all the other. Celebrate all the New Years.
We have to do that.
That would be fun.
I'm into it.
That's what we should do.
All right. Well, there you go. Hey, here's what we're going to do is we're going to break up the conversation. Or yes. Our timing is right on. I was trying to get in one split second before you, but we're so in sync right now. So what we're going to do is break up
the episode
into another episode that you'll be able to see in a couple of days, because that gives me more time to edit. And I know you've got stuff on your list that we need to cover, but I had to get the Japanese New Year stuff out right away.
Absolutely.
Timeliness.
Yeah.
But I also, if you're stuck at home because of the snow and the ice and you won't leave, like me, you can listen to amazing audio entertainment, such as our show, on your favorite podcast apps, including Audible. audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends Show. That is us, because when you use that code to get a free 30-day trial from Audible and download the one free book of your choice during that 30-day period, you get to keep that forever, regardless of whether you stick with the Audible or not.
Yeah.
But otherwise, let's assume that you renew or sign up, then you start getting those credits and you can keep downloading and keep forever, or you can just use it as a stream and listen to it on your Amazon Echo. They stay in sync, so that if you're listening to an audiobook in your car on your phone, and then you come home and you pick it up on your Kindle or your computer or your
Absolutely.
Echo.
And they have everything. I mean, I'm taking a class at Boston University online, and one of the course books that I was required to purchase is actually on Audible.
Wow.
I know.
So you can just have some dude read it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or some lady, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is it a lady book?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're studying.
Oh, no. I'm studying fundraising, individual giving.
Before we started the episode, Kathryn was justifiably giving me a hard time for mansplaining something.
I had suggested what we should do, and he didn't hear it, and then he repeated it and was like, I think you just said that. And I was like, well, a man had to repeat it in order for it to be heard.
It was a good burn. It was a solid burn from Frady. So
You're welcome.
thanks again for going to our website, frankandfriendshow.com, so that you can buy our merch, find our episodes. Thank you for updating that with the Seymour Smokies and the regular podcast episodes, and whatever new thing it occurs to us to add in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, keep an ear and an eye out for the next episode. Like it, listen to it, subscribe to it, share
Mash
it.
that button.
Oh, yeah, you got to do that. Mash that button. That's important.
It is.
I figured out how to subscribe to a YouTube channel. It's harder on the Roku by navigating the remote control. It's not impossible. It's easier to do it on your phone, but I figured out how to do it using the remote on the Roku. So nice. Do that so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're inching ever so closer.
Tell your friends.
So we're trying to get to 1,000, but we're like, we've gone up.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
slowly but surely. But you can help us get there a little faster if you smash that button and ask your friends to also.
Thanks so much. All right, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
It is the Frank and Friends Show, and we'll talk to you next time.